Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. Hey, this is not an ordinary show, but this is my month's exclusive. And what better way to spend my month's exclusive with one of my friends, Dr. Eunice Gwanmesia of Unity Solutions. Look, she got a lot of credentials in the back of her background, but that is all good. But I just wanted to share a little bit of who she is and how we met. Because, when we talk about people coming to your life for a lifetime, maybe seasonal, or just might just come for that one chance. But we are all connected some kind of way. Even though she comes from somewhere else, but she's here, we actually met and have a mutual friend that we did not even know till we were both at a book signing. Is that right, sis?
Yes, absolutely. yes.
And it was funny. It can tell you how mutual things, how the world, we really think it's always been minding us about it being really small, but really it's not small at all. It's really huge, and you never know who you in your network. So that's how it is. Your network is your net worth. So
absolutely.
I want to introduce Dr. G. I call her Dr. G. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Eunice Gwanmesia, PhD, MS, MSN, MSM, RN, etc., etc., etc. She is the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategist, an educator, also author and a speaker with extensive experience in the healthcare. So you all who are tuning in tonight, if you're ever looking into some diversity, equity, and inclusion training, she is the person. So Eunice Gwanmesia is an award-winning thought leader with more than 20 years of success as a registered nurse, professor, and diversity, equity, and inclusion advocate. Through publications and speaking engagement, she has encouraged people to transform their thinking, communication, finding their purpose, activating passion, and valuing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. And I know that's a big movement around now. Dr. Gwanmesia's journey of learning cultural responsibility took her from her French speaking University of Yaoundé in her native country of Cameroon. And I have some exciting news to share with you on that.
Oh.
So I'm gonna stop there, but I just want to say she engages the audience. So we like you to share the classrooms, her workplace, and around the world. She is also an author of several, and she's co-authored a book, which she has worked with me with Little Girls' Dreams, Women Realities, and Cultural Awareness, a strategy that can influence the journey to success. And now she is here to talk about tonight her power of your identity, the cultural landscape for our children, which is going to be released soon. So, Dr. G, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me on your show again. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. We got to have it. We got to have you here. You know how we do, sis. You know how we do.
Yeah.
So with your new book that's coming out, the power
of your identity.
Yes, you know what? I think that is so important about the identity. So you just want to share a little bit, I think it's very compassionate for you to share your story about how you actually got into all this diversity and exclusion. So can you give the audience a little bit of that?
Awesome. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you for having me, and good evening to your viewers. And it's always a pleasure to be on here. And I'm super excited about this book that's upcoming. My story, my journey has been quite a long journey, but quite fruitful. And I'm grateful for every step of it. But instead of sharing the long story, I'm going to, if you would allow me, I will share parts of the story that led me to write this book. So, of course, as Michelle said, I am just a simple little girl from the cornfields of Cameroon. And I learned earlier on in my life at the tender age of 21 what cultural responsiveness really meant by simply failing out of college where I thought I was going to get a degree to become a teacher like my dad. But that dream was completely shot when I failed out. But that journey will take me around the world through Canada, where I still failed at my social responsiveness and ended up in the Washington, D.C. area and then landed in Delaware because I was looking for a place to call home. And once I arrived Delaware, I had a situation where I was talking to a stranger, and that stranger said to advise that I should not go to a particular place to apply for a job simply because I was a woman, because I had a heavy accent and I was an immigrant. I felt sad, confused, disheartened. My heart was bleeding, as though these were predeterminants to a job opportunity. Have you ever been in a situation where you totally got so confused, you didn't have words to express yourself? At this point, I thought, well, am I not good enough because of my skin color? Because I have an accent? To a point where I'm not suitable for a job opportunity. But then this is what they have been told, that because you look different, because you sound different, you're less of a human. We just celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King birthday and day of service. And he once said, choose to be a thermostat and not a thermometer. Why did he say a thermostat? A thermostat because you can control whether you want the thermostat to be hot or cold, just like you can control how you're going to behave in your place of work, how you're going to treat people that are different from you. Unlike a thermometer, when you take your temperature, the only way you can bring that temperature down is by taking some medication. But a thermostat, every day we go to work, some people come in the morning frowning their faces. I am not a morning person. Well, go get another job or find a nighttime position. So that's why he said that. And Kofi Annan also said, we may all come from different religions. We may have different skin colors, but we're all of the human race. So today, my dear viewers, I'm going to say from me, Dr. G, that even though we have differences, these are all man-made differences. But if we simply just come together and choose to embrace those differences, we can become one big united family and communities. We can grow personally and professionally. So that is the part of my story I want to share today, because that is my mission, just to teach people to embrace one another so that together we can live in a united community, united nation, and a united world. That is my story.
And she has a very unique story. I actually, again, I want to thank you for that opportunity. Way before the COVID landed, this lady here, let me tell you, she rubs noses with the governor. The people in Delaware, the government officials love her. In Delaware, the lieutenant governor. I got to actually meet her myself. And she, let me tell you, well, they call it the Dover Downs. It's now Valleys now. She held this conference with from all different sectors of, human resources, the criminal justice, education. She broke it down in all the areas about the cultural awareness, and it was phenomenal conference. She even had a traditional custom of a ceremonial dance. She had different people from all different walks of cultures, and it was one great experience and a culture to look at other cultures, but also some kind of way we all are connected some kind of way. And that was the education, the educational part. I mean, she brought in Del State's president. It was so many people that it was just phenomenal. And again, I'm looking forward to help again with that again.
Awesome.
If you
Right.
put it on again, and you and Charlotte, you guys are doing it in Delaware. I just can't.
Thank you.
We always had something going on at the same time, but sis, I would be there if I, didn't. I would be there with this weekend, but I'm somewhere else this
I know
weekend.
you would. You have been supportive all the time. Yep, all the
Been
time.
very supportive. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So, as you said, you're putting on this new book, and you have participated in being an author and co-author of books. What, I know you gave a little brief before about, but what really inspired you to behind the story behind this book, for this book?
Yeah.
Because it's dealing mostly, I see you had to serve with children.
Mm-hmm. So the book is titled The Power of Your Identity. The subtitle is A Cultural Landscape for Children. And why did I write this book? So throughout my journey, it is not always about the challenges that you've had, it's the lessons that you take from those challenges. So as I've gone through this process, it dawned on me, having conversations with my children, that there are things that we take for granted. And so the experiences that I've had in those conversations, from things like simply starting with me from someone telling me I was not good enough to apply for a job, someone telling my child, what kind of food are you eating, to the point where the child doesn't want to take food to school because somebody is either going to stick their nose to that food, asking questions, making the child not want to take that food to school, or whether it's me adapting to a new country, trying to get used to the culture, or raising a child with a disability. So all of these things got me thinking, how can we begin these conversations at the kitchen table? Because the socialization of our children begin at home. Of course, some of it is done at school, but it truly begins at the kitchen table. If we know, remember, our children as early as middle school age start to retain and copy what the parents do at home. So if we start those conversations about diversity, about differences, teaching the children that it is okay to be different, it is okay to sound different, it is okay to have a disability. So when these kids start going out into the world and into the school, they know it's okay to embrace these differences. That is what led me to write this book, so that we can start having these conversations with the children and the teachers, so that together it's a 50-50 game. Parents do their part, they have their responsibility, and the teachers have their responsibility. Because obviously socialization starts at home, but the school system takes it a notch ahead, because that socialization in that environment, the kids see themselves as the school being a higher person than them. That social identity. But if they already have that cultural grooming at home, learning those values, they can then put all of it together and form a higher sense of self. That self-image gives themselves that self-confidence. And based on how the teachers, the educators are relating to the kids within that environment, hopefully it's safe and non-judgmental and inclusive, then the kids can really groom and get that sense of belonging and that true sense of identity and security, so they can face the world in a much easier and love one another and express that human love and get away from this hatefulness and discrimination that is going on out there in the world. That is what inspired me to write this book.
And that's a powerful message. You just spoke truth, because it does start at home. And the influences, if it start at home right, it'll get in school right. And if it gets in school right, then it will get to the world right. This is something to pass along. The power of your identity. Look, everyone, as one of my other co-friends said, so when this hits out, we got the information on when will it get out. We have a place where you can get it. So we're getting ready to tell you where you can get it. So Dr. G, when is the book going to be released?
The book will be released officially on February 8th from 12 to 1. And we're going to be putting up an Eventbrite link where you can register. We're going to be on Zoom, but it's going to be from 12 to 1 on February 8th. And everyone is invited. You got to be and join this movement. You got to come on along. We're super excited.
That is great. So everyone, if you look down, there is where you can get the book. And we're going to look. I'm excited about what's going to go on. I'm looking forward to this book. I'm looking forward to share it with my grandchildren as well, and just the techniques. Can you tell what is the communication piece? Isn't that the most important piece of the personal identity that you have? Isn't that correct? It all starts with communication.
It starts with communication, but let me answer your question in a reverse manner. We talk about identity, there's different forms of identity, but I strongly believe that it starts with your cultural identity piece. Why? Because that piece, if you hone on it and get a true understanding of it, everything else will fall in place. You will understand why people do things differently. Where does that cultural identity start? It starts in your family, it starts at home. And then when you get out into the world, you can build other identities. Because that cultural identity piece is where you grow around with your family and friends. It's that kin relationship that you develop. Let me use an example. Let's say you have, let's just take an immigrant child from, say, the Caribbean, who is a Christian, grew up in a Christian family home, comes to the US and meets another child from, say, a Lebanese child who has come from a religious background that is Islam, right? These two kids naturally are not just going to come and start carrying a conversation about culture and religion, would they? Probably not. But if that child who is from the Caribbean already was groomed up at home to understand that there are other people in the world who have different religions, then he would more likely understand when this conversation comes up that it is okay to have somebody and know somebody who has religion that is different from what he believes in. And they will engage in that conversation when it comes up. So that child has a good sense of self-confidence and security, and they can relate better to other kids. And it's the same thing in the school system. So they're not just want to be getting integrated into that system and want to do as those kids within that new community are behaving and lose their foundation. What I call that culture add. The kids will understand that they have value. They know who they are. They will come in and give their ideas to the table and have conversations without having to give up who they are, but they will contribute to that table that they've now found themselves in, or that new community, those new values and beliefs. They have their norms, they have the way they celebrate their religion and their culture, but they can share value in how other people celebrate their religion and cultures and partake in those without having to criticize, but celebrate as one unit, as one united community, but not giving up their values. So being a culture add and not a culture fit.
All right. I love it. I love it. So listen, we want you to go grab yourself some tea. You know, look, that's my culture of what I have to do when I want to go grab some tea. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to hear more from Dr. G. Where's her next initiative? Some of her plans that are going to take place, and we're just excited for you. Again, we congratulate you, and we'll be right back. Right now, we're going to take a commercial.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul podcast with our month exclusive. We are here with Dr. Eunice Gwanmesia as Dr. G, as I call her. I have the personal I can call her, but that is all great. She's a good sister friend of mine. It was a mutual how we met. And I would like to welcome Linda Array. She is here. She has a comment. She says, you have to first lead yourself before you can lead others.
Absolutely.
In the same light, you have to understand your culture and who you are to be able to understand and respect others' belief and traditions, and be a culture add, not a culture fit. Woo, that's a good one.
Yes,
Woo,
yes.
go girl, go girl.
Yep, that's my sis. Always there to support. Yep. Yep.
That's the winning lady there, the winning circle, the women's circle here. So I had the pleasure
Yeah.
of being with her as well. Again, it's all about connections, and I really appreciate. But I want to share something with you. I actually spoke to Diane yesterday, which is
Mm,
another friend who how we got together. I finally always wanted to do
your
my
DNA.
ancestry DNA. Are you ready to
I'm
hear
ready.
what my results are? I wanted to share. I've been meant to share it with you. So I am 26% DNA in Mali,
Oh wow.
but 20% Cameroon.
Oh my God.
Didn't
Oh my God. Wow.
I
Wow.
tell you
Wow.
what I meant to you? I felt connected.
You felt there was a reason why, right?
So I wanted to share that. I wanted to
Wow, that
share
is
that.
awesome.
Yay.
Awesome. See, we're not sisters for nothing.
So now it's a trip to Cameroon for me.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. We have to make a trip to Cameroon.
So yeah, so when I got that, I was excited. I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Wow,
I
that's
knew it.
awesome. Congratulations for doing your thing.
Yeah, I
Wow.
did it. I
Wow.
did it. I'm like, I wanted. Look, that goes back to what you said. You need to know your identity.
Absolutely.
You need to know
Absolutely. You
your
need to belong
identity.
somewhere. And it's funny, people say, I don't have a culture. Do you not have a culture? You grew somewhere in some community and you had some norms, some values and beliefs that you grew up knowing or followed.
Mhm.
Yes, it's malleable, it's going to change depending on where you move to and trying to adjust. But the things you can always hold on to, you don't have to give up who you grew up being just to
Right.
fit somewhere. Everyone has a culture. You didn't fall from the sky.
No. And then I was so happy when I knew it. I knew it. I was attracted. I knew it. So
Yeah.
look, Linda has a joke on. Look, Linda,
What did
I
she
want that
say?
name. You done put something out there. Linda says
And them too.
we have to give you a Cameroonian name. I'm ready.
Now
And
you
I'm
have to
gonna wear it round. They're gonna say, what's your
Linda will
name?
take care of the naming ceremony and then clothe you and everything.
Oh, I'm all about parties and ceremonies. So yeah, we can have a whole ceremony. We can do that. We can do that. Well, all jokes aside, so as you said, you want this book basically to get the message to the parents, but we know that that's important, and we know again you don't want to separate this. But did you work with anyone to get the solidarity of your ideas and thoughts for this? Because I know you do a lot of collaborations with that.
Well, that's a great question. Yes, I did. So this book, I really sat down and I talked to a group of high school students because I knew just talking to my daughter was not good enough. So I had some meetings with a group of high school kids who really shared what they were going through. And they were not just immigrant students. They included some immigrant kids and African American kids and other children, just because I wanted to pick their brain and hear what they had to say about what life is like in school and what they experience from a diversity perspective and inclusion in the classroom, around communication, around food, around how they're treated, and things like that. And I got a sense that I was in the right direction because number one, these kids, when it comes to food, they don't want to take food, not because they're not proud of their identity. One of the things that came up was, okay, I don't have the time and the energy to start explaining to 10, 15 people why I'm eating what I'm eating, or why my food takes longer to heat up during lunch when I only have 30 minutes to eat lunch, but it takes me long to heat up my food compared to somebody who just wraps a sandwich and just open and sit up and eat and maybe have 10 minutes to go out and take a walk before going back to class. And then somebody will come and smell my food and tomorrow ask me the same question over and over, and I have to explain it. And other things that came up was how they're treated in terms of kids that are introverts versus extrovert kids, or not feeling welcomed and accepted into the group because they have an accent or because they sound different. And that really told me that my situation was not just unique to me as an adult. So these kids are facing the same problems at their age. So it just affirmed to me that if we start early, we will leave a better world for them than we are right now. Because I experienced it as an adult already. At their younger age, they're experiencing the same thing. So it's ingrained in some people. Like I always say, they don't know what they don't know. So it only takes someone to educate those who do not know for the mindset to change. And I think that I've experienced that throughout my life here in the US, where I had to start from myself, educating those in the environment where I started my life in this country. Because people will talk to you and just choose not to hear you, choose not to see you, choose to smell your food. But you have to call them, let them be present to what they're doing. Sometimes they don't know they're doing that. They haven't experienced being around people who are different. So I had to do that. I also had case studies in this book because I had to talk to different people. For example, I have a mother who has a child with a disability, and she ended up starting a business because of her child had some struggles through the school system, similar things that I have experienced, with someone just saying, we're quick to put your child on medication because this child is behind at this age, they should be reading at this level, but not stopping to think that what it could be the problem. So we have case studies in the book like that. We have other examples of a child who simply just lost her identity. Why? Because came from a family where the mother was from an immigrant from a different area of the world, and the father was from another side of the world. And this child just totally went to a school where all the kids look alike, and because of the type of situation she found herself in, she ended up changing her identity and saying she was from a totally different place that her mother could not even believe. So she truly experienced an identity crisis. And then another case study is somebody totally from my area of the world, and we meet in the United States, and our stories just rhymed, and we seem to find ourselves in the issue of belonging, that we've experienced the same things. So yes, I did do some collaboration, and I'm excited. I don't want to give the book so much away. So you need to buy this book to read it for yourself.
Yeah, I am. You know I got
Yeah.
you. Yeah, know I got you. You know I got you. You know I
Yeah.
got you. I got you so much.
Yeah.
So, when writing this story and with your own personal story, it can get emotional. Even when we did our collaborations of the Little Girl's Dream, Women's Reaches to Women's Reality, when we were, in that, you think about it. And it can be an emotional pursuit when you think about this, because again, you bringing these challenges, you bringing it back, and like you said earlier, it hurt your heart to hear these stories. Mm-hmm. Is there any tips that you could give to any upcoming author who is in thinking about writing a book but didn't want to share the story because of that, uneasiness? How would you tell them to overcome that?
That's a great question. When I started this process, I was excited about it, but it took quite an emotional drain on me as I was starting to write the book. But when I went back, I look at the conversations that I had with my kids. I told myself I had to do it for them. I actually wrote a letter to my children that I was doing this for them, so that one day they would take this letter out and know that I did it for them, so they could do the same thing for their children. And at some point, I kind of started, just not even putting much energy in it, and I put it aside. And then Linda and I actually started taking a program with Milestones Circles through NASDAQ Entrepreneurship Center for Women. And you're supposed to set milestones. And initially, my milestone was supposed to be to complete my online course. But one day I was like, I need to just switch to this. And I'm so happy I did. And it was the extra push for me because I was about to give up. And as you know, I have my 5P principles, and that's what I always fall back on. because that's my guide. And I said, what is my purpose? So I had to always go back to my purpose. And so I went back. I said, this is going to be my milestone. And with that guide, I was able to refocus back in the book and complete the book. But what I will tell authors is, don't give up. Whatever your dream is,
Right.
what is your reason for wanting to share that story? Somebody is out there waiting for you to inspire them, or waiting for that story that you have in you to change their life. Don't go to your, I don't want to say it this way, but don't go to your final resting place with that story in you. Bring
Wow.
it out. Somebody needs that inspiration. It could be that
Wow.
one word in your book that will change somebody's mindset, that will change somebody's life, that will make somebody take a different direction in life, or change a perspective that they have for better. So please, just be patient. Whatever your life's plan is, mine is my 5 P's, whether it's your purpose, your patience, your passion, your persistence, or your perseverance. That's what I use. Find what yours is and stick by it. But most importantly, what is your passion? And if you don't have the support system, find yourself a group, your support system. If you're a lady, find your group, a group of sisters that will let you lean on your shoulders. We are wild sisters, and we lean on each other's shoulders. And Michelle knows it. I'll lean on her anytime. She'll call anytime. We support each other. Who is out there to say girls cannot support girls? We definitely do, because it takes a village. So find your group of people that have like minds, will support you, and you can cry on their shoulders, because you have got it in you. I believe it's Michelangelo who once said, in every brick of stone, there is a statue, and it's up to the work of the sculptor to discover that statue. So when you have your circle of sisters, sometimes it just needs that empowerment, that encouragement, that inspiration to birth that thing in you that you have, for it to come out. So just don't give up. Just go do it. Start that book tonight.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So you got to give those 5P principles again.
Yep, yep.
So, Dr. G, can you give those 5P principles again?
It's your purpose, your patience, your passion, perseverance, and persistence.
All right. You got it. So you heard it. You heard it straight from the mouth. That's what you got to do. Your 5 P's. You gotta be. You gotta have that purpose, and we all here for a purpose. We might not figure it out. It might need someone to help us to figure it out. And hey, don't give up on it. You know what? You just confirmed, because I confirmed it. I said it the other day. It's so many people. It's a lot of richness out in that graveyard, because a lot of
Yeah,
people left from here. That's
yeah,
where all the millions is at, right there.
yep,
Some people that left
yep,
from here with some ideas that they were scared
absolutely.
to pursue, and it be in the. I tell people quickly, I don't believe when God gives you an idea that you're supposed to rest on it. He gives you
Mm-mm.
that idea to fulfill it.
Execute it, fulfill it. Yep,
Yeah, he gives you that idea to fulfill it. Yeah.
absolutely.
So Linda said the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, great testimonial from Dr. G. Gwanmesia on how the program helped her to complete her book. So I have to look into that. You have to give me more
Absolutely.
information on
I
that.
think you'll like it. Yeah.
I have to look into that. Dr. G, it's almost time for us to go.
Oh, always fun to be here.
It is almost time for us to go. I'm telling you, we gotta plan this thing in Delaware. So do I see a conference coming behind this book?
You know it. Right now, I don't have any plans to share yet, but stay tuned. There is plans in the works, but I just cannot share right now. So just stay tuned. You will be informed when every plan is all set in stone and settled enough to share. You will be first to hear. So that's all I'm gonna say for now.
All right. So again, everyone, her what's next, February the 8th, her power of identity will be out, and you will be able to use this link
To
to
pre-order.
purchase it. Go get yourself 20 of them. If you just be a blessing to somebody, Just be a blessing to somebody. because we need this. We all need to know what our personal identity is, because it's so many people with identity crisis right now, and this is culturally, spiritually, mentally. Some of us is in that. So again, go get yourself purchased. Again, Dr. G, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight, and it was great having you here. Linda, moved from out of Delaware, but I'm down in Alexandria this weekend, so maybe I can hook up with you while I'm down in that way. But again, this has been phenomenal, Dr. G. Thank you for tuning in and coming and saying yes to this, because I want to spotlight my folks. So if you know, and again, so this was an exclusive. I'm actually supposed to be on a break, but you got to do what you got to do. This is what a sisterhood is about. She called, we hadn't talked. I was like, hey, I'm told the folks I'm going to do an exclusive once a month till I come back full time weekly. And it's, you're here. So that's another thing with it. I want to just say integrity matters. Integrity matters. Sisterhood matters. And and again, I'm one of a Cameroon. I'm ready to learn to dance and everything.
Yes.
I actually did that day. I actually did doing when you had it at the Dover Downs that time. I actually did dance. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the part. I'm all about ceremonial stuff. So yes, I am.
Awesome.
Linda, awesome. It's on. Once I'm gonna dig in some more. But yeah. So Dr. G, again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And you have been totally an inspiration in my life, because I shared the story with you. I had a friend during the time when 9/11 happened, and we were working at the nursing home together in healthcare. And when that happened, nobody would want to talk to her because, again, she was from Morocco and Islamic, and, that whole stigma that went behind that. She literally was going to leave the workplace in the country, and she had a hard, difficult time. And I grasped into her, and we are like the best of friends today. She's come to my house. I done embraced the Ramadan and all of that type of stuff. So it matters. It matters with different cultures and stuff like that too.
And the thing is, people, I actually went to an MLK program the other night, and they had people, bishops and pastors and people from different religions. And one of them made a comment, why can we not do this on a daily basis? You just worship differently. That's all there is. You're serving the same God. What is the problem? Yes. What is the disagreements left and right?
Yeah.
But it's just, hopefully one day we will all get to a point where we can just simply just agree and just know that it is okay to embrace others' perspectives, because then it makes us a better person. It doesn't make us weaker at all.
And you just touched on something too, because at one point in time, I won't go all into the details, but I used to belong to this group because, again, I have minister stuff as well. And I used to go to this group that was called Tackle. And it standed for, it was a county, Talbot Association of Laity and Clergy. And it was from clergy from all different walks. I'm going to tell you, my Rabbi Peter, I love him to death. I've been to the Sakkah. You just got to open your mind up to various things. You practice what you practice, but you're still together for a purpose of coming together and making your community better. And at one time, where I was worshiping, they was like, oh, you need to stay away from them Tackle people. No, you still know who you are. You know what I mean? You still know who you are. But what I loved about it, you were making a difference in the community when it came to different topics, to bring brighter change. And that's what we're supposed to do, help one another, right? So it was a barrier. You had to break down those barriers. And I learned so much from that. But, that's just me. That's just my DNA.
Yeah. Well,
for me.
thank you so much, yeah, for
So
sharing.
again, everyone, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, the January's month exclusive. We will be having another exclusive, and I'm very excited about this exclusive because as of next month, it'll be a celebration of African American Black History Month. And we here where I grew up, a town in Talbot County, actually we're so close to some of the pioneers. Harriet Tubman is in Dorchester. Then we have in Talbot region was Frederick Douglass. So there's a big celebration for Frederick Douglass for his birthday, where a statue, a human-like statue, and I'm actually going to share this tonight on my Facebook page. There is a benefit, for the help with the statue that's going to be here present for the day. I mean, it looks so real. He looks so real. It looks really real. Looks just like him. But actor, Phil Darius Wallace, he is the actor. I will be interviewing him exclusively, and that will be at February the 7th. So I'm excited about what's going
That's
on.
awesome. That's
That is
awesome.
so. I'm like, wow, I get to
Congratulations.
interview actor Phil Darius Wallace, who will be
Wow.
portraying him, and I actually will have to be there that day, which will take
That's
place
awesome.
February the 18th. So again, I am excited about what's going on.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Happy for
Thank you.
you.
So again, just to let you know, we love you here at Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. And if no one has ever told you that you are loved or you don't feel love, just know that you are loved here at Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul.